Crocodiles produce tears when eating due to a physiological process, not an emotional one, despite the common phrase crocodile tears, implying sadness or insincere crying. This phenomenon is primarily linked to two mechanisms: eye lubrication and salt excretion through specialized glands. Below, I'll explain the process in detail, covering the anatomy, physiology, and evolutionary context. 1. Anatomy of crocodile tear production. Crocodiles, like other crocodilians, alligators, caimans, and gharials, have lacrimal glands, which are responsible for producing tears. These glands are located near the eyes and secrete a watery fluid that serves multiple purposes. Additionally, crocodiles possess salt glands, sometimes called Harderian glands in reptiles, which are specialized structures that help regulate salt levels in their bodies. These glands are particularly active in marine or estuarine species like saltwater crocodiles, Crocodilus porosus. The lacrimal and salt glands are connected to ducts that release fluid around the eyes, which can appear as tears, especially during activities like eating. The tears are not a response to emotional distress, but a byproduct of physical processes triggered by the act of feeding or environmental factors. Why tears are produced when eating. When crocodiles eat, several physiological mechanisms can lead to tear production. A. Lubrication of the eyes, physical stimulation. Eating is a physically intense activity for crocodiles, involving powerful jaw movements and head thrashing to tear apart prey. This activity can stimulate the lacrimal glands, causing them to secrete fluid to keep the eyes moist and protected. The eyes are exposed to air, debris, or even water splashes during feeding, and tears help lubricate the cornea and conjunctiva, preventing dryness or irritation. Nictitating membrane, support. Crocodiles have a third eyelid, called the nictitating membrane, which slides across the eye to protect it while still allowing vision. The tears produced during eating may help lubricate this membrane, ensuring smooth movement and preventing damage to the eye surface. B. Salt excretion, salt gland. Activation in crocodiles, especially those in saline environments, e.g. saltwater crocodiles. These salt glands near the eyes are critical for osmoregulation, the process of maintaining proper salt and water balance in the body. These glands actively excrete excess salt, which is expelled as a watery, salty fluid that can resemble tears, feeding triggers. Gland activity. The act of eating, particularly in saltwater environments, may increase metabolic activity or salt intake from prey or water. This stimulates the salt glands to excrete excess sodium chloride, which appears as tears. This is especially pronounced in marine crocodilians, as their bodies need to eliminate the high salt content from their diet or environment. C. Pressure on sinuses, mechanical pressure. Some researchers suggest that the physical act of biting and chewing exerts pressure on the sinuses and surrounding tissues, including those near the lacrimal and salt glands. This pressure can stimulate the glands to release fluid, resulting in visible tears. This is similar to how humans might tear up when yawning or sneezing due to pressure on facial nerves or glands. 3. Evolutionary and ecological context. The production of tears during eating likely evolved as an adaptive mechanism for crocodiles, particularly those in aquatic or saline environments. Eye protection. Crocodiles often feed in water, where debris, blood, or other particles could irritate their eyes. Tears help flush out irritants and maintain clear vision, which is crucial for spotting predators, prey, or rivals. Salt regulation. For species like the saltwater crocodile, which inhabit brackish or marine environments, excreting excess salt through tears is an efficient way to maintain homeostasis. This is similar to how seabirds and marine turtles use salt glands to excrete sodium chloride. Energy efficiency. Producing tears during feeding may be an energy-efficient way to combine eye lubrication and salt excretion with an already active metabolic state, rather than requiring separate mechanisms. 4. Debunking the crocodile tears myth. The phrase crocodile tears originates from medieval folklore, which claimed crocodiles cried to lure prey or out of false remorse for their victims. This myth was perpetuated by early naturalists and writers, such as Sir John Mandeville in the 15th century, who described crocodiles weeping to attract sympathetic prey. However, modern science has clarified that the tears are not emotional but functional. Crocodiles lack the neurological capacity for emotional crying, as this is a trait primarily associated with the mammals, especially humans. The tears are a coincidental byproduct of physiological processes, not a deliberate act of deception or sadness. 5. Scientific observations. Studies on crocodilian tear production are limited, but key observations support the above mechanisms. A 2007 study by Dr. Kent Vliet, a biologist at the University of Florida, observed alligators, close relatives of crocodiles, producing tears while eating. Vliet noted that the tears were likely due to the stimulation of lacrimal glands during feeding, possibly linked to sinus pressure or reflex responses. Salt gland activity has been well documented in saltwater crocodiles, with research showing that these glands are more active in saline environments or after consuming salty prey. The tears are not always visible, as they may evaporate quickly or be washed away in water, but they are more noticeable during prolonged feeding or when the crocodile's head is out of the water. 6. Comparison to other animals. Crocodile tear production is not unique in the animal kingdom. Marine turtles, sea turtles also excrete salt through glands near their eyes, often appearing to cry when laying eggs on beaches. This is purely a salt regulation mechanism. Seabirds. Species like albatrosses and penguins have supraorbital salt glands that excrete salty fluid, similar to crocodiles. Mammals, some mammals, like humans, produce reflex tears, e.g., when cutting onions or due to physical irritation, which is analogous to crocodile tears but not linked to salt excretion. 7. Key takeaways. Crocodiles produce tears when eating to lubricate their eyes and, in some species, to excrete excess salt through specialized glands. This is a physiological response, not an emotional one, driven by lacrimal and salt gland activity, sinus pressure, or metabolic demands during feeding. Their tears serve adaptive functions, such as protecting the eyes and maintaining salt balance, particularly in saline environments. The crocodile tears myth is a misunderstanding of this natural process, rooted in folklore rather than science.